So, Dr. Agogho Brandon, what do you have for us today?
Anybody who carries out research knows that the subjects or the participants is never the target population entirely. We always take a subset, and of course, since you are not using the actual population, there's a chance that you can always make erroneous conclusions. So the issue today is about error in research. So the main reason or the main issue with the measurement error or the information bias or notice in our context is the integrity of the data. So the data you're presenting, do you actually collect it? Because we know the logistic issues that people face studying in Cameroon. Like the hardships is not news to anybody and will not belabor the point. So it makes that people get into research, which is an obligation, and of course, everybody who has done research has prepared a protocol where you prepare methodology and the timeline where you expect to achieve this at this time. But of course, as in all projects, what we hope for is always never what we meet. And so when people are faced with such issues, there's a tendency, I don't know if it's intrinsic, for us to look for a way to survive. Now, the reason that can come to my mind, the first thing, as I said, is the logistics and the finance. If you're doing a study in which you have to do biological tests and buy reagents or pay for the lab exams, you need the money. And sometimes families are not able to get the money. And by the time you have all the funds available, you have a very short time frame left to carry out the research because defense is scheduled for a particular time. So you find yourself under pressure to meet up deadlines. And so you may use that as a justification to twitch, I can say, on the integrity of the data. We have some students who carry out research that are not, with objectives that are not smart, because the A for the smart is attainable or achievable. And for you going in, you must know that whatever I am going in is something that, given the logistics and the means I have, I can attain these objectives. You calculate sample sizes sometimes that gives you a minimum sample size of maybe 1,000 patients. That in your protocol, you write that you actually are supposed to meet them personally or get them on phone. But you know that that is theoretically. Practically, is it feasible? No. But these protocols get validated. And when the student gets to the field with the protocol that has been validated, he just has to give the results. It's cross-sectional retrospective. Those are the two study designs that most students usually use. Because for cross-sectional studies, you know that it's not follow-up period. And hopefully, you will not have to go through the work of following up somebody. And of course, retrospective is that you get to records and you consult records and you extract data. But of course, everybody who works in retrospective studies knows the issues of how complete are medical records in our facilities. So you see that if I get into a record and I'm collecting a patient's medical information and I have various parameters that I have to collect, maybe the patient's age, the patient's weight at a certain period, the patient's BP values, blood pressure values at a certain period, lab exam results at a certain period, and the health professional who took care of the patient because he has a lot of work to do, or because there is no electronic health information system where data can be stored optimally. We have paper records which get missing, get eaten up. The student goes, despite all the planning, finds himself that the data available is lower than what he expected. Deadlines for submission of research works are approaching and the student doesn't want to postpone. Now, a student sees himself almost obliged to twitch on the data. And all this makes that people produce research work, publicly defend, get excellent marks or scores on studies that mean nothing. I think the issue of prioritizing secondary analysis of pre-existing database is a good avenue. In that case, students can focus on data analysis aspects, which is important for them, rather than collecting data, however they collected it, sending it to an analyst, a statistical analyst, collecting results, presenting results without being able to analyze some basic stuff. We hope that the questions we raised here can also inspire or spark questioning in your minds, and that going forward, the research can be done for the purpose of research, which is adding knowledge and information and creating a change. Thank you very much.